I don't know how well you can see this because I can't see my phone very good. But this is one of my gardens, one of my beds. This is where I had my tomatoes. Just pulled my last of my carrots up from right there. And I've got all these little pretty, I'm going to show you my shadows in the window. All these pretty little bitty flowers. Now you know you have a heart for growing things when you don't even want to pull up the weeds. This is not weeds, it's so pretty. My whole back field there under all the trees is like this. It's like walking on a field of pretty flowers. But anyhow, I'm about to clear all this out and I will bring you back. I'll do a quick rundown because every time I push record another car comes by. This is how my garden's looking right now. This is the stuff up front. These are mostly flowers and herbs. That's the fennel right there. It's really bushed up a lot. You see how big it looks? I love how pretty that is. And my favorite part are these little fuzzy things here. See, that's my, I can't remember if it's mint or chocolate mint. I think that's maybe spearmint. It's my rose bush. I think that's the chocolate mint. Got these, monasterum. Marigolds coming up. And here I got some California poppy, zinnia, and helichrysum. How do you say that? Lemon balm. See, sage and lavender. Those are some elderberries. I'm just dunk a bunch in there with some root hormones to see if I can get them to root. That's the Rose of Sharon. This is my calendula. My pink zinnia and my purple palace zinnia. 5-spot. So that's the ranunculus. Here's my sunflower from my sunflower bucket challenge. And they didn't say it had to be one seed in the bucket. I planted a bunch of seeds because I want a bunch of sunflowers. But anyhow, this one is my allium and daffodils. Just a little bit coming up. And this is my purple balloon flower. And I have some seeds of that if anybody wants some. You'll see it when it blooms out later. It's really pretty. Right here I relocated 2 of my snowball bushes because where they was at, they wasn't getting enough sun. And this is my new garden row right here. See, you don't have to have a whole lot of space between your house. This is how much yard we got right there to where it's mowed. And this is my row of garden stuff. Now I might spread this out a little bit more. So I got some bachelor buttons in there. And this is my Mexican sunflowers. And Cherokee purple there. I think that's turmeric in that one and that one. They haven't come up yet, but they usually take a while anyway. This will be my purple basil I just planted. This will hopefully be some potatoes from the potato slips that I planted. I got my purple royalty beans in this one. And I have yellow squash in this one. And I may end up moving this down away from the beans a little bit. I'm not sure. That's the elephant ears that I put in dirt. That's just the root part, not the tubers. And I'm going to try to plant them somewhere. I got to figure out where though. And this is my cucumbers, the straight 8. And my Kentucky pole beans. And I planted something along the bottom there, but I didn't mark it. So, surprise! I have something else growing with my pole beans. And I obviously planted it, but I did not mark it, so I don't know what it is. And then up here on this thing, we do not use this, so it never comes on. But it does pull a ton of heat right here, so I have to make sure I keep these watered very well. Let's see, I've got marigolds. This is just all the stuff I've recently started. Quite a few beefsteak tomatoes, more marigolds, amaranth, rosemary, tarragon, ruby eclipse. The ruby eclipse is a sunflower, I believe. And then over here I have the pink brandywine tomatoes. And then I have my garlic, and it's really sprouting up huge. We'll see what that does. Over here in this one, I have arugula, sage, spinach, amaranth, and the Nantes carrots. And that may be too much for that, but I don't care. If it looks like it's too much, I'll move some of it or something. Okay, I got the giant gray striped sunflower, and I also put some jeweled corn in here. And it may or may not do very well. This is an experiment because I will have another section in my garden that has actual rows of corn. And in this one I have kale and sunflower. And all these just got planted, so they're not... A lot of this stuff hasn't even sprouted yet. This is my fig. I'm starting to get a little figgy on there. Not sure why the middle isn't blooming more yet, though. That's funny. And my elderberry is going way up. Now, I haven't pulled this out yet because I was thinking about trying to save some seeds from this, but I need to do more research. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's edible. If you know, comment. Let me know if you know what it is. But the elderberry is going really good up there. I had to cut a bunch of little sprigs that were coming out like runners just to keep it calmed down some. I just want to add that as you're starting your garden, there is a good set of guidelines to go by and basic general rules. What to plant, when to plant it, things like that. But you don't always have to do everything by the book. Experiment with things. I cannot tell you how many times somebody has told me you can't do it this way, and I did it anyway and it worked. People may have different experiences than you where it didn't work for them, or they may be in a different zone. And it could be as simple as it might work in your backyard and not your neighbor's backyard. You just don't never know until you try. So, if somebody tells you something or tries to give you a tip or comments you can't do something this way, don't take it to heart. You know, think about what they've said. And if you feel like you want to try it anyway, do it. Don't worry about what anybody thinks, because that's how you learn. And I've learned more hands-on just doing it myself and figuring out, well, this doesn't work this way and it doesn't seem to grow during this time. Just try it. You just don't know until you try it. So, we won't watch that. Anyhow, Don't be discouraged if something doesn't work the first time. I've had things that would grow on one side of my house and not the other. You just have to experiment, work it out. Figure out what works right for you, what works good in your yard, and don't worry about what everybody else says. Now, like I said, there's a few basic rules you have to follow, but, you know, all plants need sunlight and water and decent soil. But I see a lot of people doing a lot of extra stuff that's really not necessary, and it may intimidate other people that are just getting started. Like, I don't want to put that much energy into something like that. But you also get what you put into stuff. The energy that you put into something will be what is brought forth and created. So if you want the best garden you can have, research and do all that extra stuff. But if you're just getting started and all that extra stuff is overwhelming, just start with sowing seeds. I call it seed slinging. I will throw a bunch of seeds in a container and see what comes up. That's how I started. I started doing that when I was little, just to see what comes up, and then plant it somewhere. Find it a home. There's a lot of spots that you think you have to till up and make you a bed and get it all fancy and decorated. You don't have to do all that. Just find it a spot and say, here, this is your home. I plant you here, and there you go. Find a way to put either sticks or rocks or bricks or some way of marking where you've planted it, and just see what happens. Don't worry so much about if you got the right kind of soil, if you've got the right kind of starter trays. You can start them in cups, paper cups, plastic cups. You can cut up recycled material. You can take an old cereal box and fill it up with dirt and plant something in it. You just have to make sure the wind doesn't blow it over. There's all kinds of things you can do to incorporate your own ideas and to make things happen for you. Don't be scared to try. You don't have to record it. If somebody laughs at you, oh well. Laugh at yourself. Don't be afraid to laugh at yourself. I do it all the time. And I mess up a lot too. And I will not say that I'm a professional, but I can make some stuff grow. And there's evidence of that all around my house. But I wouldn't call myself a professional. I just like to make things grow. But anyhow, I've carried on enough. I just want to encourage people who are just getting started or feeling overwhelmed about getting started. Just do it. It makes you feel so good when you create and make things grow. And it's like nurturing life. The world needs to get back to that a little bit more, I think. God is the creator. And He put this system in place for us to make things grow and create our own gardens in our hearts and in our yards. But anyhow, y'all stay blessed and go plant something. Don't matter what it is, go plant something.